Hello. Welcome back to the channel. Glad to be here another day. We are highly favored to make it through. Thank you to Jesus for another day. We're very blessed. So, we're in the book of Matthew still, and we're going to start with Jesus and the disciples going to Gethsemane. Okay. Okay. Um, let's take it back a little bit. The scripture in 26:28, when Jesus were the Last Supper, okay? Jesus told the disciples that in verse 28 of chapter 26, for this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many for the remission of sins. In verse 29, it says, but I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine. I won't drink it no more until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. So the Lord is waiting for that day, which no one knows. And but the Father. So that day it'll be a celebration, like I was saying before with the wedding. So he said, I won't drink this no more until I am gathered together with my love, And one scripture about, I go to, after he had risen, I go to prepare, or maybe it was, I'm not really sure if it was after, but I have to find the scripture. I go to prepare a place for you, and my Father's house has many rooms, and I would have not told you that if it wasn't so. That's not verbatim, and it's probably in the book of John. John has a lot of information in there. We'll be in Mark soon, which kind of Mark is kind of giving a different perspective for, but also the same, as Matthew, but everything is like different, how you say, different, maybe different situations, different encounters. Like it'll tell, we'll wait till we get in there. Let's get started. This is going to be a long video. So Matthew, where are they? We're in 26. Let's go to verse 30 of 26. It says, and when they had sung hymns, they went out into the Mount of Olives. Then Jesus said unto them, all ye shall be offended because of me this night, for it is written, I will smite the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock shall be scattered abroad. And so, it's like they'll be feeling some type of way, because the shepherd will be afflicted by these people with wickedness in their heart. And who are those people? Let's go back to 26:3 and 4. They assembled together, the chief priests, the scribes, the elders, and the elders of the people, unto the palace, and the high priest, who was called Caiaphas, and consulted that they might take Jesus with trickery and unalive him. And I said unalive because I don't like to say the K word. No particular reason, but it's kind of harsh. Um, so therefore, they will afflict him, and the sheep, the disciples, and they will be scattered abroad. And we'll come to find out that, during this time when they do capture him, Peter will deny him, and it's like a day where they lost. They were in, despair, and everyone went their separate ways. You know how some people just want to be alone and be able to deal with the situation that they're going through. And so, verse 32 says, "But after I've risen again, I will go before you into Galilee." So he's telling them that when I rise, I'm going to come to you. So you'll be witness that I did rise, right? Peter answered and said unto him, "Though all men shall be offended because of me, because of thee, yet will I never be offended, made to stumble." And 34, it says, Jesus said unto him, "Verily I say unto thee, that this night before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice." For those people that say thrice is not a word. 35, Peter said unto him, though I should die with thee, yet will I not deny thee. Likewise also said all the disciples. And so Jesus already knew, and in their mind they thought that they wouldn't do it. It's like you saying, I would never, but you end up doing that very same thing that you said you would never do. So I don't know, maybe pray. I I learned to, for that same reason, that I'll end up doing something that I said I will never do. I learned to pray and say, I hope and I pray that, I never do this thing, that I wouldn't want to end up doing. And hopefully, my hope is to not do it. I'm imperfect. So, I can only pray that I not do something that I don't want to do, or if it's against God, So, verse 35, Peter said unto him, "Though I should die with thee, yet will I not deny thee." Likewise also said all the disciples. So in 36 it says, "Then cometh Jesus with them unto a place called Gethsemane, and saith unto the disciples, Sit here while I go and pray yonder." 37, verse 37. And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful and very heavy. I'm trying to slow down, trying not to make this video long. So the two sons of Zebedee, James and John, and Peter were with him, while the other disciples were just in another area. In verse 38, then said he unto them, My soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. So stay here and watch with me. Verse 39, and he went a little further and fell upon his face and prayed, saying, "Oh, my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thy wilt. So in 40, and he cometh unto the disciples and findeth them asleep, and say unto Peter, what, could ye not watch with me 1 hour? And so he says, watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak. And so I'm gonna just stop there for a moment. I kind of like, there's people in the past that say when they be praying on their knees, they'll fall asleep. And I have too. So I learned to, I learned a method to just walk and pace and pray, especially if you're going to be praying for long hours, because if you're on your knees, you might fall asleep. And so they, went to sleep, and he said, watch and pray that you're not falling into temptation. The spirit is willing. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. The flesh want to go to sleep. 42. He went away again the second time and prayed, saying, oh, my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me, except I drink it, thy will be done. So, and then he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy, and he left them and went away again and prayed the third time, saying the same words. Then cometh he to his disciples and saith unto them, sleep on now, and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand, and the Son of Man is betrayed into the hands of sinners. 46 says, rise, let us be going. Behold, he is at hand that doeth betray me. And so I always thought, like when Jesus prayed 3 times, it's like sometimes when you pray, you be like, I didn't get the answer yet. And you pray again, but then some people say that he heard you the first time. So I'm kind of like on the fence about that, because sometimes I'll pray again. So, but I know he heard me the first time. But so I'm just saying. What do y'all think? Drop a comment if you wonder about that as well. And while he yet spoke, lo, Judas, one of the 12, came, and with him a great multitude with swords and staves from the chief priests and the elders of the people. Verse 48. Now he that betrayed him gave them a sign, saying, whomsoever I shall kiss, that same is he, hold him fast. So Judas, who is like a friend who's went everywhere, like the betrayal of a friend, how some people might have that friend that really isn't a friend and betray them in some kind of way, and sometimes it'll get them unalive. In Jesus' situation, Judas did that, and he told the army that was with them, that was sent with them, the person I kiss, grab him. That's him, you know. So, and forthwith he came to Jesus and said, hail, Master, and kissed him. In verse 50, and Jesus said unto him, friend, oh, there it is, friend. I didn't realize that. Wherefore art thou come? Then came they and laid hands on Jesus and took him. And behold, one of them which were with Jesus stretched out his hand and drew his sword and struck a servant of the high priest and smote off his ear. So he cut off his ear. In verse 52, then said Jesus unto him, put up again the sword into its place. For all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. 53. Thinkest thou that I cannot pray to my Father, and he shall presently give me more than 12 legions of angels? So at this point, so at 53, and I'm thinking about the prayer and everything, and I'm like, he said, he knows that he doesn't have to, that he doesn't, well, I'm trying to think, like, with this, he's saying is like, at this point, I could call on my Father and he will send the angels to fight for me. But he knew God's will and he was willing to do the will of God. In 54, but how then shall the scriptures be fulfilled? Oh, there it is. That thus it must be. I'm getting ahead of myself. Oh my goodness. Talk to me, Lord. So yeah, he's saying that the scriptures must be fulfilled. So this must happen. In that same hour said Jesus to the multitudes, are ye come out as against a thief with swords and staves for to take me? I sat daily with you, teaching in the temple, and ye laid no hold on me. But all this was done that the scriptures of the prophets might be fulfilled. Then all the disciples forsook him and fled. And they that had laid hold on Jesus led him away to Caiaphas, the high priest, where the scribes and the elders were assembled. So everyone, like, left because maybe they were afraid and like and probably like confused, even though the Lord was telling them this was gonna happen. Probably didn't like connect in their brain like this really is gonna happen. And there comes a day where he's no longer gonna be with us, and through all this time we felt safety, we seen miracles, we got knowledge. Oh my goodness. He was a light of a dark world. This generation was wicked. And so 58. But Peter followed him afar off unto the high priest's palace, and went in and sat with the servants to see the end. Now the chief priests and the elders and all the council sought false witness against Jesus to put him to death. And so they broke the law. They who know the law broke the law. The chief priests and the elders and all the council sought false witness against Jesus to put him to death. So they know the law, and that's why Jesus called them hypocrites, because they were not walking within the scriptures, but they were telling people you're breaking the law and things like that, and back then you'd be stoned. But so the law is do not bear false witness. Yeah. And so they gathered up some false witness against him, so that when he go to the court of law, which would be the governor which we're gonna read, Pilate, that they will have some evidence that he's guilty and he's worthy of being put to the worthy of being unalive. And so let's also uh just touch bases on the law. Like the law, again, to let people know that they were, in sin. But the law, you know, still stands because of the Lord fulfills the law. And just the way I understand, as for example, a law that thou shalt not steal, right? Also man's law. Okay, so if you don't go by the Lord's law, you can go by the man's law, because you know that there's a law that you should not steal, that you should not take stuff that doesn't belong to you. And so, but even though the law is a place, people still sinning. So I look at it as, the law is there, and say something you need, you can't even afford it, or say you're hungry. Many people speak of that, or your child need diapers. I've seen, like, I went in the store before, and there was a guy, the owner, I would talk to the owner of the store, and I had told him about the package being open. It was diapers, and he was like, yeah, people come, and they take stuff. And I was like, well, maybe they should have asked. He was like, yeah, maybe they should have asked, and then it called the police, and then you go to jail, you know and some people are good hearted, and they understand the struggle, because them too have probably, well, them too have struggled. I don't say how you cannot have not struggled, but maybe some have not struggled in life. But I'm not one to say that I've never struggled, because I have many struggles, many tribulations. And so, sorry about that. And so, if you think you wouldn't get caught if you go into the store and take something, you wouldn't get caught, you can get away with your slick stealing, then you'll do it. So, on the other hand, Jesus come fulfill, and I look at it as, your heart. Even if you got away with it, you have Jesus in your heart. Your heart would condemn you and be like, Jesus saw it. And I want to just, say a particular thing that happened many years ago, before the Hachu moment. Me and a family member were in the car, and this testimony is not to be boastful or anything, but just as a testimony and an example. So we're sitting in the car, right? And discussing something. And I think we were about to leave, and this woman comes up, and she's saying that she needs something from the store, and probably some medicine or something, right? I think it was medicine. I know it was in the cold months. And so the woman says, I don't want to steal it, you know? And so we didn't have much, but we gave what we had. We could have said, if we were like, a bad fruit, we could like, go steal it then, because we don't got much either. But what we did have, we gave her our last, you know? And I respect the fact that she was honest. And I felt as though she knew Jesus. I probably didn't ask that question at the moment. I probably should have. But You will know them by their fruit. I don't think that she was a liar. I think she was very sincere, and she was saying, I don't want to go in the store and steal this. Can you help me out? And so that fulfillment of Jesus, um, this woman knowing him, I believe, said, I can go in the store and steal this and get away with it, 9 times out of 10, probably get away with it, but I don't want to, because I know it's wrong and I know Jesus see me. And so, if one understands, and I think that I'm going to probably end this video in a little bit because it's getting a little lengthy. So they who knew the law broke the law by raising up false witnesses to testify against Jesus. So again, in 60, but found none. Yea, thou many false witnesses came, yet found they none. At the last came 2 false witnesses. 61 says, and said, this fellow said, I am able to destroy the temple of God and to build it in 3 days. And so them being not with understanding had no idea what that meant. So they come again as false witnesses to bear something out of context that is not what God was saying, but they had no knowledge because they were wicked as well. 62. And 62. And the high priest arose and said unto him, answerest thou nothing? What is it which thou witness against thee? What is it that thou testify against thee? But Jesus held his peace. And the high priest answered and said unto him, I adjure thee by the living God that thou tell us whether thou be the Christ, the Son of God. 64. Jesus said unto him, thou hast said. Nevertheless, I say unto you, hereafter shall ye see the Son of Man sitting on the right hand of power and coming in the clouds of heaven. And so I'm like, okay, Jesus said nothing when the people testified, he already knew it was untrue. So why respond to a lie? And then 2, they ask him, are you the Son of Christ? They want him to, say that. And he's like, he already knows that they have said it before. He says, thou hast said, nevertheless, although I say unto you. So yeah, I'm going to end it there. And we're going to get into more of the scrutiny that they were putting them through. And we have about 10 verses before we get to chapter 27. And chapter 27 is 66 verses. And then 28 are 20 verses. So we're going to get to the maltreatment of Jesus by those who afflicted him and set him up. And I hope, I'm glad that you have watched the video, and I look forward to you watching plenty more. Have a great and wonderful Sunday. God bless. Until next time.